Jasmine and Rima. Well, first of all, Jasmine and Rima, that's so cool for you putting this all together. Number one, thank you for that. Number two, nice to see all of you. And what a pleasure it is to just be able to have a conversation and check in with some of our greatest fans. So that's super cool. I believe I know I just saw Mahira is here, and I can't see everybody, but as other special guests show up, let's call them out in the chat. And I'm sure we'd all be happy to answer questions. We're on the verge of a very big victory for all of us, and that's not something that I can talk about on this Zoom. But keep your eyes very closely peeled to social. And as we like to say in the Manifest universe, all good things.
Is that Jeff, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's my good friend, my director, Mike Smith.
Hi.
How are you, Daryl? How are you?
I'm good. Everybody looks great. Look at you guys. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, brother?
It's going really well, Daryl. It's a happy day. I'm here in New York City. Are you here in New York City, Daryl?
I am right here in my apartment in Washington Heights, New York.
Love it. And Mahira Kakar is here. Mahira, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
Hello. Hello.
I think I'm 4 blocks away from Daryl.
Amazing.
We do. We live in the same neighborhood.
Oh, wow. I'm in Midwood, Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
So what did I miss, Jeff? What were you when I got on? You were talking to everyone and
Hey, hold on a minute. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey,
man?
how are you, Daryl? Hey, Ma, how are you guys? Been good. Been amazing watching all this unfold on social media over the last 2 months.
It's Jared Grimes. It's Adrian. It's Adrian.
Good morning. Good morning.
What's up, Jared?
Morning.
Brother
Hey, how you
Adrian.
doing, man?
Brother Adrian.
Good morning, brother Jared.
Hey, Jared, how are you?
Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm hanging out, man. I'm trying to see what's going on 828.
Hey, Mike and Jared, am I right that Mike, did you direct Jared's first episode? Is that your first episode,
I know,
Jared?
and
110?
I know exactly what you're going to say as he's wearing that hat. Remember we had the fitting?
Yeah. Well, no, I do remember.
The answer
that.
is yes. Yes, I did his first episode when he's walking down the street and sees the all the fans, and they bow to him.
Oh yeah. Oh
Right.
man, that was.
No, I did that,
bizarre,
and then the next year I did Jared walking down the alley.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God.
Seeing all the 3 figures converge on him down, and that's one of my favorite shots actually, from behind in the beautiful shadow. But I remember we were doing a test on his hats, Jeff, and that was how much we're gonna see. We don't want to lose his beautiful face. I would love to see Daryl Vance. I'd love to see him tap dance.
Yeah, that will never happen. But I've seen Mr. Grimes dance. He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
He's a Broadway talent as well. I don't know if many of you know that.
Oh man, I try to sprinkle some energy in as many places I can in the arts. So I'm always thankful for people to come out and enjoy some singing or dancing or anything that makes you smile, for sure.
Like, did he get a say in that, like Vance's character returning?
No, you don't get a say. What happens is, this is what you get. You get a call from Jeff Rake, and he says, "Hey, pal, how you doing?" And I say, "Doing great," because you're always a little bit nervous when you get a call from the showrunner, because it can only mean 2 things. And one of them is not so good. He says, I think you said I got some good news for you, some bad news for you. I think and then you just went on to explain that it was important that, I'm talking about Jeff, went on to explain it was important to have a sacrifice of an important character at the end of the season. So it was, I've told the story before, you know, you would think you would feel very sad at a moment like that, you know, but I was so proud of the work that I'd had an opportunity to do it. I always wanted to do a part like this, that it was a real Zen experience. I was like, okay, all right. Okay, well, look, you know, thanks for the opportunity. And I didn't actually feel sad. It was weird. Even on film, the last day of shooting, I didn't feel sad. And there's a tradition when a character's leaving a show, someone from the cast of the crew will say, and this is a series wrap for whomever. So this is New York, by the way. I don't know if you can hear the fire engines. In my case, it was Josh. This is a series wrap for Daryl Edwards, and everybody claps. And that was the closest I came to feeling bittersweet about it, you know, as you leave the studio for the last time. But then at the wrap party, I was one of the last people to leave the wrap party. Everything was winding down. And Jeff comes over to me and he says, look, I just want you to know that you're going to be back. And that was amazing. I wanted to ask, how is this going to happen? I didn't ask anything. I left that party. It felt like I was walking on a cloud. So so that was my experience at dying and then coming back to life.
For me, it was always important that Michaela's character not only be on a path of redemption, but that we establish that she was someone who had been on a lifelong journey of redemption. So to be a little more specific about that, I always thought of Michaela as someone who was kind of on the wrong path in her early years, you know, troubled teenager, wild child, very different from her buttoned down brother, and had maybe made some wrong choices, you know, along the way. So again, I know we haven't gotten into a lot of that, and other than you're seeing that one night when Evie and Michaela were on the town, you know, partying. You haven't seen much more. Or well, also, I always saw Michaela as this wild child, and whose decision to join the police academy and go into law enforcement would have been something that took her, you know, friends and family by surprise, and that was a conscious effort for her to kind of get on the straight and narrow. And yet, you know, if you're a person who has demons, you know what, and that might be addiction, you know, it was a very deliberate choice that we made, that you know, Michaela had this DUI tragedy, and then when we met Zeke, we discovered that Zeke also had struggled with addiction. It was important to me to kind of have a bond between, you know, these two souls who had a lot of darkness in their background. So back to Jared and Michaela, you know, for Jared to have kind of met and fallen in love with Michaela, as she had taken an active step to kind of move away from the darkness, you know, of her past, and then try to be a better person, and then be rewarded for that journey to meet someone who may just be her soulmate, felt like an important crossroads, and the writers and I liked that concept.
So I'm curious as to why you think that your character knew Sanskrit.
That's a really good question. Jeff and the writers' room, they're pretty amazing. And one of the things that I appreciated about them, other than like the really detailed work and the character arcs, was that they collaborate with their actors. So Jeff came up to me and he actually asked, he was like, do you think this would be written in Sanskrit? And I thought, yeah, I think she's a person who's academically minded and has molded herself that way. And so I was like, yeah, I think yes, she would know Sanskrit. And I do know, I spent some of my formative years in India, and Sanskrit was definitely on the table as one of the subjects you could study if you wanted to.
With everyone here, I definitely just want to reiterate. And I'll just keep it short and sweet, but I have been through a lot in life, went through 3 years of abuse, and just kind of lost everything, all of my personality, my life. I mean, I just was not a whole lot after that. And so recently I've started that healing process and claiming back my life and finding the things that I enjoy. And this is one of the first and the biggest step to that, finding, I mean, we have 64 people here that I've connected with and built friendships with. And I've gotten a chance to interact with the cast and of course, Jeff and Mike and everyone. And so this has just been a really big part of finding out who I am and finding like a sense of belonging here.
That's cute.
It's beautiful.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Who breaks character most because their own kind of personal character
Well,
gets
I
in the
don't
way?
know. I don't know if she breaks character. I do know Melissa breaks into laughter a lot, which is a good thing. And sometimes the one thing I'll say is once she gets going, she can't. It's and this happens a lot on different sets. Once, and I'm sure it's like when you were in like elementary or middle school and you were in back of class and you started laughing and you have the giggles. Melissa tends to get those sometimes. So that's. And you can't get mad about it because she's laughing and having a good time. But and then it becomes contagious. So whoever is in the scene, whether it's Daryl or Josh or JR, then they all come on board. And the captain also, she tends to get the giggles as well. But again, that's as I've said to Jeff, in private, is really one of the best, if not the best cast that I've worked with, and I've directed some other shows here in New York and other places. And it really is just the ensemble of the cast is just both professional in front of the camera, which is important for the product, but also behind the camera, which is important for the morale of the crew and the writers and the director and everybody. You want it to be a nice environment to work in. And I think Jeff and everyone on this call that works on the show can attest it really is one of the best environments to work in. And it typically is from the top down. So, I mean, I think that's a credit to Jeff and the actors. So, I've only directed 4 of these. So to even be on this call or a part of the fun on Twitter is just, I'm very lucky. But it really is. And the writers besides Jeff, there's a ton of writers out there in California and all over that come visit the set when they're a part of it too. It's really just, it really is, as you guys see, the manifestors, the family, it's like, well, we are that in Silver Cup and in LA. It's really just a close-knit group. It's great. So
I will say that
open.
in between takes, Josh is like a 9-year-old. Like a 9-year-old boy. I am not even kidding. I am not even kidding. You like have camera people, the DP, director of photography, saying things to Josh. Don't put that down. Stop it. Stop it. Don't touch that. And he's like an incorrigible 9-year-old in between takes.
Yeah, I can agree. I can attest to that.
I had a question for Daryl actually. Somebody asked if you and Josh have a real life friendship, or if it's just on set or on camera.
Josh is a great guy, and
They
we
hate
are-
each other. They hate each
I
other.
can't stand him.
I've had to hold them apart. They've been going at. I'm just joking. They love each other.
He's a great guy. We have so much. I think maybe one of the most fun days I've ever had in my life was the first episode of the 3rd season where we were on that truck. We were laughing so hard. We were having so much fun. So yeah, he's a
Are
pal.
we gonna get some bloopers in the near future?
I hope so. It was disappointing in those early season DVD releases that there were no extras, and you know, truthfully, I didn't even know like the DVD was coming out, and all of a sudden, you know, we got sent an email saying, "Hey, the DVD's coming out," and I think that happened twice. So hopefully at some point we could put a bunch of blooper outtakes together. There are a lot, and you know, it just requires our editors having time to go through and synthesize them. And I'm going to make a note of that and talk to our post producer. And if we're lucky enough to continue, hopefully as a side project, we can put that. I know that Daryl and Mike may recall, I think in season 1 at the wrap party, I think we had bloopers. And so I know that we started to assemble them, but nobody got to see them other than, you know, the 100 people who were at that party. So I'm sure they all exist in a file somewhere. And I'm going to make a note right now and see if we can, you know, bring those to light at some point. That would be fun.
I have a question for Jeff. So if you could have anyone at all guest star on the show, who would it be and why, and what character would they play?
Well, I think that's so hard. You know, it's a tricky thing when you contemplate bringing a well-known celebrity into a story, because it's cool on the one hand, and you go, oh look, it's you know, that person who I love from that other TV show or from that movie. But even as you're thinking that, you've kind of stepped out of the universe of the story, you know? And so it's a double-edged sword to kind of, you know, stunt cast a character on a show like Manifest, because, I mean, you may disagree, but I think most people don't want to be reminded that they're watching a TV show. You know, when we watch an episode of Manifest, you want to just kind of be in the world and just kind of accept the reality of the Manifest universe. So even though, you know, I'm a huge fan of many, you know, actors, and I love their work, I'm not sure that I would want to bring a recognizable face into our story, because I think it would take you out of the story. All of that said, the obvious answer is that Ginny, Josh's wife, would be the best guest star to come on to Manifest. And I think she would either play, you know, an old flame of Ben's, or maybe some cruel villain who kind of goes up against Ben in some way that would be so against character, because she's the loveliest person in the world, you know. And that's the trick. And if any of you are aspiring actors out there, you know, the trick is not to do a lot of acting. The trick is to do very little acting. Of course, you're acting, but it shouldn't feel like you're acting. And And same with Paco. You know, by the way, he just kind of like he just threw it away. He just, do you know what I mean by threw it away? He just kind of like he just said the lines. You know, he didn't have to like put a lot of top spin on you know, on the lines. And you know, the best actors can just kind of like have enough confidence to just spit the words out, because that's real life. You know, like I'm not putting on a whole show in having a conversation with you right now, and you know, for an actor to be believable, it should feel like they're just having a conversation, you know, with you. And you know, whether it's Paco, whether it's Daryl, whether it's Ma, you know, whether it's Jared, or any of the other actors who you love, you know, from the show, the reason they're so good is because you believe them. You believe them, you know, and sure, sometimes it's harder than other times to find someone who you just believe when they say the words. And for me, that's what it's all about. The show is so big. The show is so out there. The show is so heightened. You're not going to believe any of it if you don't believe the actors.
Any like really interesting scene that didn't make the final cut?
Yeah, always. Every episode comes in a little bit too long, and we have to make hard choices. And so I imagine that you know, all the actors on the Zoom probably have experienced watching an episode, and you know, often it's not the scene was cut, but the scene was shortened. And you know, an actor might be watching and waiting for their favorite line to come up, and then whoops, it just didn't happen. And you know, that was because, you know, the episode could only be a finite number of minutes, and you know, we've just had to make some you know, hard choices over the years. I'm trying to think if there's one specific scene that nothing's going to occur to me right now. I'm sure I'll think of something later, but it's happened a lot. I mean, any actors on the Zoom have an example in their head of a scene that they shot that didn't make it on the air?
We shot one scene where we were in Vance's office, and we had like, I think there was like 8 or 9 people in the scene, people who were working the investigation. And because of an error that doesn't matter, I'm pretending like I know why I didn't make it in the show. I have no idea why I didn't make it in the show. I thought maybe an error had been made in something, but it was a great scene. It was a great scene. I don't know if you remember that scene, Jeff. The other thing that does happen is that Jeff and the director, because we have different directors working different shows, will actually make you a better actor, because in the editing of the scenes, sometimes they will tighten the performance. They'll cut out lines that don't mean anything so that you get to the point of the scene much quicker. And when you see it on TV, you're like, wow, I didn't realize I was that good in that scene. I was really good. And it has a lot to do often with the editing.
I was so happy when I got the scripts for 303 and 304 that I was going to be able to shoot the big reveal in Eureka. And to me, while I love everything I shot in season 1 and season 2, but to be able to shoot the end of episode 3 with Daryl walking in and being shown it, but then he, you know, the audience doesn't see it. And then to be able to show this thing that the amazing crew had been working on for months. I mean, to put this plane, we have a plane in Long Island City sitting there. And I knew what it was going to do for the audience. And so we really, and then, you know, Daryl reveals it to, you know, Parveen and Josh. And it was just, I was so happy to be able to open the episode with that. And I knew that the fans were going to go nuts when they saw it, even if they had a sense of what was coming, to actually see because these were real plane parts. And then I will say this, you know, what you don't know is I directed episode 3 and 4, and then I had a sense of what was coming down the road, but then I I probably could have if I bug Jeff enough, but I didn't read the script. So I remember watching the finale of season 3 as a viewer, and I turned it on. I watched, and then I saw Ma walk out there and the plane disappear, and I was like, awesome. Sorry, Daryl, I know I cut you off, but that for me,
no,
the-
no. I
the
just to
shot
add,
was-
just
was
just
was-
to add to
was-
what you said, your direction in that scene. I think you said this is your one chance to be big. This is the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life, and play it like that.
and the audience didn't see it, so we had to go off because I believe, and Jeff can confirm with the final cut, I believe we ended that episode on Daryl's face seeing something, but the audience doesn't see it, and then we went right to
That's
credits.
exactly right. And you
I
kept
think,
saying
right?
to me, no, this is the most amazing thing you've
Right.
ever seen.
It's almost the
I was
opposite of
trying
what
to-
Jeff was saying about casting less is more. I was like, no, this is like a holy shit moment.
I was trying so hard to be Sidney Poitier. I was trying to be very, very cool. And you kept saying, cut. No, Daryl, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life.
Bigger.
That was fun.
Yeah. Now he's gonna, now if I ever work with Daryl again, he's gonna say, you want me big, right, Mike? I'm gonna, no.
Thank you so much.
Happy
Thank you so much.
Happy
Thank you.
A2A.
Fans, Jeff,
Bye.
everyone, Michael, all of you, thank you.